Hi, and welcome to another Pasha Travels video. When you visit or hear about Egypt, you may think of popular sites like the Pyramids of Giza, the Cairo Citadel, Muhammed Ali Pasha Mosque, or the Egyptian Museum. But have you been to the oldest street in Cairo? Muizz Street is the oldest and one of the most historical streets in all of Cairo, and although it spans only 1 kilometer, it is packed with historical sites. Spanning across 4 dynasties, there are almost 30 historical sites on that street that make it one of the highest concentrations of Islamic heritage in the Muslim world. In this video, we're going to take a closer look at this magnificent street and what makes this place special. Let's get started. For starters, the actual street name is Al-Muizz al-Fatimi, but it's shortened to Muizz Street. The street is over 1,000 years old, dating back to the 10th century, when its foundations were laid by the Fatimid rulers of North Africa. Initially located near Qayrawaan in modern-day Tunisia, the capital was relocated in 973 AD to Cairo after it was conquered by the Fatimids under the rule of Muizz al-Din, after whom the street is named. In 1171, Salah ad-Din al-Ayyubi would take control of the city from the weakened Fatimids and establish the Ayyubid dynasty. Not long after, the Mamluks would rise to power, and their contributions to Egypt, and especially along the street, is most notable. Finally, the Ottomans got their piece of the pie as well during their reign of Egypt and even into Muhammad Ali Pasha's rule in the 1800s. If you look straight down the street, you'll see in a single glance the contributions of 4 major dynasties, from mosques to Sufi lodges, to palaces and mansions, to bazaars and old hospitals. The Qalawun complex is one of the most interesting sites to visit on Muizz Street. It was built by Sultan Qalawun in 1285. Built as a multi-use complex, it served as a mausoleum, a madrasa or school, and a bimaristan, a Persian term commonly used back then to refer to a hospital. It was common for patients at the bimaristan to stay for as long as 3 to 5 months at no charge for various treatments, including mental health problems. The madrasa was one of the few places in the world at the time that taught all 4 major schools of Islamic law. Inside the building, there are 4 iwans, or large halls, that are walled on 3 sides and open on the 4th. It was also the main prayer space of the madrasa. The mausoleum houses the tombs of Sultan Qalawun, his wife, and his 2 children. The complex's hospital, which continued to run through to the 1800s, was eventually converted to an eye hospital, which is still in use today. Immediately next to Sultan Qalawun complex is another mosque and madrasa belonging to Sultan Qalawun's son, the madrasa of Nasir Muhammad ibn Qalawun. It was built in 1304 with a Gothic doorway, and it is a much smaller site compared to his father's palace next door. Although intended to be the site of Sultan Nasir Muhammad's burial, he ended up being buried alongside his father in the Qalawun complex. Though it is the smallest mosque in Fatimid Cairo, Al-Aqmar Mosque bears great architectural significance on Muizz Street. Originally built exclusively for the Shia who lived in the capital, its exterior architecture was one of a kind during its era. It bears inscriptions of notable members of the Prophet's family such as Ali, Hussein, Hassan, and Fatima, making it one of the few remaining sites in Cairo with a distinct Shia identity. Just across the Qalawun complex was an Ottoman-style sabil, or public fountain. The earliest public fountain in the Muslim world dates back to 1077 AD in Damascus, Syria. These fountains became popular and widely used across the Muslim world throughout various dynasties, and was established as a charitable endowment, usually by a ruler, a vizier, or a wealthy individual. It's used to provide running water to the city's residents. There are 3 of them spread across Muizz Street. 2 of the best known are the Sabils of Muhammad Ali Pasha and Sabil al-Kuttab of Katkhuda. The Sabil of Muhammad Ali Pasha is located near the end of the street. Built in 1820, it was the first of its style and was adorned with panels written in Ottoman Turkish. Muhammad Ali Pasha commissioned the building of this Sabil to honor his son Tosun. With the purchase of a ticket, you can enter the cistern below, which was refilled twice every year. The Sabil usually ran 2 shifts per day with up to 4 people working. Extensive background and health checks were done on potential employees to ensure that they could not contaminate the water supply. In dealing with the public, they also had to be personable and kind, which means that references from family and friends were required to attest to a person's good character before being granted the job. The second well-known Sabil is Sabil al-Kuttab of Katkhuda, which was built in 1744 and commissioned by the Emir Abdurrahman Katkhuda. Famous for his construction of many mosques and philanthropy work, he built this sabil as a central water supply in the city. However, without a cistern, the water was brought from other locations and poured into the dispensaries located on all three sides of the sabil for passerby. On the second level was a kuttab, or a small school that was dedicated to teaching orphan children the Quran. The Khanqah of Baybars II was located around the midway point of the walk down Muizz Street. This is a Sufi lodge built in 1309 to accommodate hundreds of adherents in the city. It is the oldest standing Khanqah, or Sufi lodge, in Cairo today. A winding hallway will lead you into the courtyard area where gatherings and prayers took place. The winding path deep into the Khanqah was designed so that the noise of the busy street would not reach the gathering. These are just a few of the highlights of the rich and historical Muizz Street. Stay tuned for part 2, where we look at even more of the historical sites both in and around Muizz Street. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe.